Okay, so I have done videos on this Orixa before, but lately I have been experiencing her presence in the lessons of my life. So first of all, if you do not know, the divinity represented here is Oba, who in Cuba is called Obanani. In Brazilian Candomblé, we spell her name with one B, O-B-A. Oba is one of the Orishas, or the divinities of the Yoruba people of southwest Nigeria, who were taken in the slave trade to places like Cuba, Puerto Rico, Brazil, Trinidad, and even Arkansas here in the States. So the Orishas are both cosmic forces and ancestral divinities too, because it is believed that they had incarnated on the earth as great kings and queens and warriors and priests and priestesses in the ancient times. So Oba here was the first woman warrior among the divinities, among the Orishas, and she was like unmatched. Her skill in battle was unmatched, which is why you see the sword here and the shield. She is also the Orisha of the turbulent waters, the rapids. Okay, so that is also represented behind, and she also is very fiery. So she has a lot of these elements, the rough waters and the fire, and she is the first wife of the Orisha Shango, who was the king of Oyo. I know I'm trying to cram a lot of info in one video. There may be several videos about her, and I have done them before in the past. Also today, Wednesday in Brazilian Candomblé, is the day of the week for Oba. Also, it's for her husband Shango and her sister Oya, who are divinities related a lot to fire. So my nickname, my affectionate nickname for Wednesday is the Day of the Fire Nation. I know it's an Avatar reference, but it works. Okay, so Oba here is the Orisha. Of course, she's a warrior. She also helps a lot of people who have been abused, women in particular, and I'll get into that as I tell a little bit about her story. And those who do not have a voice. She also is the divinity for the household, because she was considered like the perfect wife and hostess, because she was raised, as a princess to marry one of the most powerful kings. So of course she knew how to like plan, like cook, and like the queen, the princess, she basically runs the household, right? So the domestic arts. Also, she represents the stability of serious relationships like marriage. We're not talking about like that flighty kind of love, where you just have a crush on someone, or you have a lust for someone. No, Oba is that unconditional love, and not just romantic feelings, but that unconditional love that you just feel for your loved ones. And I think that's why I've been feeling her presence more and more in my life the older I get, is that once you pass your late 20s, your 30s, you're into your 40s, you're nearing your 50s, the generations are passing in your family. All my grandparents are no longer on this earth. They still walk with me, but they're no longer here in the physical. My parents are getting older. My aunts and uncles are getting older. I'm getting older. The younger members of my family, like my cousin's children, my two nieces from my older brother, are also, getting older. And so we're seeing change. We're seeing, like family members are leaving. And so like the older you get, the more like things that you thought were so important, like are just kind of trivial now. And you just really have that devotion and care for your loved ones, whether that's, cooking them their favorite meal, whether that's, if you have elderly parents or relatives, taking care of them, and just, I feel like Oba is like the unofficial patron of caregivers, whether that's people that care for their relatives, whether that's people that work in the health careers, the nurses and everything that just devote their time and their energy. This is not like her official position, but I feel that she is a good ally for people that do this. I know when I was a home health aide and I had to devote a lot of time and attention to my patients that I was taking care of, like it's a labor of love. Like, you don't go into a profession like that for the money. You don't go in it for the fame or the glory. You go in it because you genuinely want to help people, because you care. And so, it's like the older that I get, the more I kind of value this very like unconditional love. When I was younger and perhaps more petty, like there was more constraints, let's say, more opinions that I had. And now, I don't know, some stuff just doesn't matter anymore. When you're, like I said before, when like the generations of your family are passing and you're getting older, like you just have a different perspective on things. Okay, so if you don't know the story of Oba, I'm gonna like give you the short version. She basically cut her left ear off, which is why she's holding her ear, because she was tricked by one of her sisters. In Brazil, we say it's her sister Oshun. In Cuba, they say it's her sister Oya. In any case, one of her dear sisters, who was close to her, it's a betrayal, right? Who were also married to her husband Shango. They were the sister wives. She was the the main wife. And one of them, depending on the version of the story, just did her wrong, right? And they told her like, oh yeah, cut your ear off. Your husband needs to stew with your ear. He'll love you more. It's a secret recipe and everything. And they tricked her. And then Shango found out. He was disgusted and like threw her out of the house and so forth. So depending on, there's different version. In one, she like goes off, she marries Ifa. There's another version that Louisa Tesh found from one of the places where Oba was venerated in Nigeria, saying that Owatala, the father of the Orishas, healed her, and she continued her work and devoted her life to helping others. So she does regain her happiness, but she suffered a lot for love. Because that is that unconditional love that I'm talking about. Not that you have to suffer for love, not that you have to tolerate abuse or disrespect, but that just giving without expecting, and that's not an easy thing to do. So those who have been abused, those who have been suffering in these conditions and relationships that are harmful and detrimental, Oba is the one that we sometimes turn to get out of it, because she does have a sense of justice. She does have a sense of fairness. I can go on and on. The reason why I feel very devoted to her, my main Orisha is Logunade, who in the stories Oba tried to drown because in our version of the story, Oshun is the one that tricks her, and so Logunade is the son of Oshun, and she, tries to drown him in the river. She's like, I'm mad at your mom. I'm gonna take it out on you, nephew. But these stories are not literal. Our religion is not like the Bible or the Quran or the Torah, where we take the word literal, like this is the word of God literally. No, these stories about our divinity serve as lessons, right? To teach us how to become better people, not, to act in this manner. But she was the first Orisha, the first initiation after my main initiation, the first one that I received. Her mysteries was Oba. And so she's been with me, other than my main Orishas, which are Lugune de Oshun and Ochosi. She's been with me the longest. And the older I get, the more I can see why the oracle that Ifa, the Busios, the shells said for me to receive her first. Because the older I get, the more that I realize that it takes strength to care. It takes strength to fight for your loved ones. It takes strength to love. Love is a difficult choice to make. And, of course, you got to choose your self-love first. And I think that's part of her lesson too. Are you taking care of yourself before you take care of your loved ones? I'm sorry this video was long. I had a lot of thoughts about her, and I just wanted to share my appreciation about her. And all the children of Oba that I've known in my life have always been a blessing to me. So I thank them and I thank her. Obashi, Obashire.